Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I put together 7 fall projects using scrap vinyl. I'm using all adhesive vinyl and I had so much fun putting this video together. I've used quite a few Target dollar spot items and I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. I would also love it if you subscribed if you are new to my channel, and let's get into the video. I picked out all of the fall colored scrap vinyl pieces that I had to use for this project. I found these wooden houses in the Target dollar spot. I thought they were the perfect craft blank to paint or add vinyl to. The pack was $5. I also loved the little galvanized roofs on top. I'm also thinking about picking some more up to use for Christmas decor also. I bought this pattern paper from Michaels. It has 180 pages of really fun patterns. I used a 40% off coupon and got it for around $9. For the larger house, I decided to Mod Podge pattern paper to the wood. This is the pattern I chose, and I use a pencil to trace the house. Then I cut it with my paper cutter. I'm using a matte Mod Podge. I use a sponge brush to add it to the wood. I saw someone on TikTok share that they add Mod Podge and let it dry all the way. Then they heated up a mini iron. I'm using my Easy Press Mini, and then I place the paper on the wood with parchment paper between and run the Easy Press Mini over it. This will reactivate the Mod Podge and cause no wrinkling or bubbles in the paper. I was amazed by how well it worked. You can see no wrinkles at all. Then I decided to seal it with Mod Podge on top, and that ended up causing wrinkles. I'm not sure if I used too much Mod Podge, but you can kind of see the wrinkles on the bottom here. I didn't show it in the video, but I heated it up again and it took out the wrinkles, but you can kind of see on the bottom here the wrinkles kind of messed it up. If you've used heat to Mod Podge, I'd love to hear your process and how you do it. I decided to add some twine around the house, and then I just tied it with a bow. Next, I paint the other 2 wood houses. The first paint I'm using is Waverly chalk paint. The color is pumpkin, which is very fitting. For the other house, I'm using apple barrel paint. The color is barn red. Both of these acrylic paints are found at Walmart. I also love these blue paint brushes from Michaels. They never shed any of the brush hairs, and it comes in a 3-pack. Also, I'll leave all links down below and separate them by project to easily find them. I purchased this bundle from Design Bundles. I've been getting so many SVGs from Design Bundles lately because they have really good deals. This one's on sale for just $2 and you get all of these SVGs, so there's a ton of them. I've already downloaded it and I brought it to my downloads folder on my computer, and here's all the files you get with this. It's crazy how many files you get. It's awesome. So there's all different ones on here. Now I'm in Cricut Design Space and I'm going to upload one of those SVGs. I'm just going to double click in the folder. And for Cricut, I like to use SVG images. So this comes with a JPEG, PNG, and SVG, and I'm just going to grab the SVG file and select open. This whole image is super cute, even though I'm going to make it really basic. So I'm going to go over to It's Fall, y'all, and just select it in here. This is all grouped together, but you can select on the layer, and then I'm just going to hit delete on my keyboard to get rid of that. Now what I'm going to do is just click ungroup, and I'm going to slide the top part over. I'm actually only going to use this part of the SVG. I'm just going to size this now. I already measured my wood house and decided what size to make it. So I'm just going to select on it and go up to my width and select 3 inches. And my house is a little bit longer and this image is kind of wider. So I am actually going to hit unlock and then bring this just a little bit taller. I think that looks good. I don't want to do it too much because I don't want it to look distorted or anything. Now for my other house, I'm going to grab a shape in a square to help me figure out the sizing. And the size of the main part is 4.5 by 2.5. Oh, and actually I need to hit unlock. So I'm going to do 4.5, hit unlock, and make it 2.5. This is kind of the maroon color, so I'm just going to change it close to that. Then I'm going to go to my text, and for hello, I'm going to be doing better together. I already have it selected because I was playing around with this before I started filming it. I think this is a really fun font. I downloaded it from dafont.com. I'm going to change this to kind of a yellowish color. These are not the exact colors, but it just kind of gives us an idea of what it will look like. Then I'm going to go to text, and I'm going to switch it to Times New Roman. And I'm going to type in fall in all caps. I'm also going to change the color. I'm just going to do black vinyl for this, and I'm just going to make it fit inside of here. I'm going to have my hello overlap on the black vinyl a little bit since I think that looks pretty cute. Now I'm just going to delete my rectangle, and I'm ready to click on make it. And then I'll go on the yellow mat, and it looks like it's filling in these letters. It might cut okay, but I'm afraid it won't. So I'm actually going to hit cancel, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to try to weld it together. And it does shade in those letters, so I'm going to hit undo, and I am going to select ungroup. So I'm just going to ungroup all of these letters, and I'll actually show you a really cool trick. Someone actually commented this on one of my TikTok videos to help prevent those letters from getting shaded in. What you do is you select the two letters that were getting shaded in, and you right click and hit send to back. And then I'll grab the E and right click and hit send to back. It looks kind of funny right here, but now let's try welding it together. And that works. That's a really fun hack, and it's so much better than trying to move the letters around. So that is awesome. Now I'm just going to go back to make it. I'm actually going to move my fall down a little bit since I'm using scrap vinyl. I just want to make sure it's going to fit. Now I'll click continue. Then I'm just going to select vinyl. I add black vinyl to the mat and have the Cricut cut it out. Then I'll have the Cricut cut out the other scrap piece. All of the vinyl I'm using in this video is Oracal 651. Then I weed out all of the excess vinyl. I add my transfer tape. I'm using Cricut transfer tape. I use my scraper tool to scrape the front and the back. The key is to scrape the back and pull the backing of the vinyl away from the transfer tape to easily transfer it. Then I add the vinyl to the wood house and press it down really well. Then I remove the transfer tape. Then I add the vinyl to the other wood house, and I use the Cricut transfer tape for fall, but I switched it to the Duck brand contact paper for the hello. The Cricut transfer tape was just a little too sticky, and it was taking off some of the paint. Here's how the houses turned out. Super fun to add to fall decor. For my next project, I'm going to be adding vinyl to a football glass that I found at the Dollar Tree. I've never seen these before, and they are really cool. It has two ovals on each side that has a space to add vinyl. So I'm going to go to my uploads, and I am an Iowa State football fan. I live in the Midwest, so I am going to add some Iowa State decals to the cup. One thing I quickly want to point out that these are only for personal use. I bought these SVGs on Etsy. Now I'm just going to grab a shape to figure out my sizing. I'm going to grab a circle. I'm going to make this the size of my oval. So I am going to come up here and hit unlock. The width is 3 inches and the height is 2 inches. I'm just going to change the color. Then I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to look at this SVG first. What I'm going to do is hit ungroup. And I'm going to get rid of this piece because I think it'll be easier not to have that. Then I'm going to move this to the side, and I think I'm going to keep everything else the same. Iowa State colors are cardinal and gold, and I don't have those exact colors, so it's not going to be perfect. I do have kind of a maroon vinyl and a red vinyl. I'm just going to use the same yellow vinyl for both of these, so I just want to make these colors match. So what I'm going to do is come up here and try to figure out which one is the same color. That one is. So each of these will cut out separately, and I will just piece them together on the mug. Now I'm just going to group these together so I can move them all as one and keep them all the same size. And I'm going to figure out my sizing. I think that looks good. Now over here, I am just going to make this smaller. I might figure out the sizing first. Okay, I think that looks good. Now I'm just going to ungroup this and see what pieces I have for this one. Okay, there's a lot of little pieces here, but we're going to have this yellow be the same as our other yellow, so I'm going to come up here and change it. And for this, I'm just going to make sure that these are all the same reds that match this one, so I'm going to change that. And it looks like all of that matches. Now we just want one maroon piece. That gets a little confusing with the colors because this maroon over here was a different color maroon than this one. So it was going to put it on two different mats, but I'm only using one maroon vinyl sheet. So it'll put all the yellows on one mat, all the reds on one mat, and the maroons on one. Now I'm just going to erase my ovals and I'm ready to click on Make It. So you can see our tiny little white pieces for the eyes. Here's all the yellow. Oh, here's the yellow pieces, and I forgot to attach that. So I'm going to hit cancel and make sure everything's attached. So I'm just going to hit ungroup. In my state, I'm just going to attach. It looks like that was the only thing that needed to be attached. So let me hit make it again, and I'll double check that everything looks good. Now I'll hit continue, and I'll select vinyl. The Cricut will cut out all the different colors. I follow the prompts on Cricut Design Space showing which one it'll cut first. Then I weed out all of the vinyl. Here's the football glass I'm using. I clean it with rubbing alcohol first. These glasses are seriously awesome. Let me know if you've seen them at your Dollar Tree. Then I follow the same process as before with adding the transfer sheet, but this time the vinyl is going to be layered with different colors. I start with the bottom layer first, then place each piece on top. It helps to look at your image on the computer while you do this. Here's how the first side looks. Then I add my vinyl pieces to the other side. The trickiest part with this is making sure you have it lined up really well. It ended up working fine, but looking back, I was thinking I could have used the parchment paper method and added all the pieces together first, then added it all to the mug after that. If you haven't seen the parchment paper method for layering vinyl, I'll leave a link to the video I made below showing how to do it. It is definitely a game changer, so you can use this process for this layering as well. I would just recommend piecing it all together first with the parchment paper method before adding it to the mug. Here's how it looks. Seriously, so fun. You can add your favorite sports team, or if you have a kid in football, you can personalize it with their name and number. I still can't believe each mug is just $1. For my next project, I'm making a fall-themed book stack, but instead of using books, I'm using wood. I purchased a 2-inch by 6-inch by 8-foot piece of wood from Home Depot, and my husband used a miter saw to cut these down. They are 9.5 inches wide. I decided to paint the wood white. I'm using apple barrel paint again, and for the first block, I painted it white on the top, but the others, I just painted the sides that would show, and I did a couple coats of paint. Then I use hot glue to glue the wood pieces together. You can use wood glue as well, which is a little bit stronger, but so far my wood pieces are holding up really well with the hot glue gun. Now I'm going to type out the words that I want to put on my book stack. So I'm going to go to text and I'm using the font Centi. I'm just going to start typing in my words. Now I'm going to change these to the color of vinyl that I'm going to cut it out on. I'm also going to grab a pumpkin image to put next to pumpkins. So I'm just going to find one from Cricut Design Space. I'm going to use that one. I'm just going to slide these over so that it's a little easier to line this up. I want to make the pumpkin the same color as this, so I'm just going to select over here in my layers panel. Then I am going to switch it to the same color, and I also want the stem to be brown instead of black. Now I'm going to figure out my sizing. I'm going to go to my square, and the size of the spine part of my book is 1.25. It's a little bigger, it's closer to 1.5, but it kind of curves, so I'm going to do 1.25 for the height, and the width is 9.5. Just going to change the color, and now I am just going to line this up. I'm going to right click and send this to the back, and I'll see how this looks. I might make it just a little bit bigger. I'm just going to highlight on these and bring them down. I'm just going to duplicate this twice, and this will just help me visualize it a little bit better. I'm going to send these to the back also. And I'm going to click on apple cider. The size is about 78 inches. I'm just going to change it to that. And then I'm going to grab Bonfire and change my font size to 78 so that it's the exact same size. Now for the pumpkins, I'm going to click on it and select 78 for font size and bring this over. Then I'm going to grab my pumpkin and add that to there. I think that looks super cute. So now what I'm going to do is just hide these rectangles, and I'm going to select Make It. Then I'll just select Continue. Then I'll select Vinyl. The Cricut will cut out all of the vinyl pieces, then I just weed it out. Next, I use transfer paper to add the vinyl. Also, what fall projects have you guys been working on? I love hearing all the different things, and fall is my favorite time of year, so I absolutely love crafting during this time of year. Now I just add some ribbon to the book. I thought this was such a pretty fall color. I picked up the ribbon from Michael's, and this was on sale as well. Here's how this turned out. This might be my favorite project from this video. It was so fun to make, and I just think these turn out so cute. For my next project, I'm going to add vinyl to this beverage bucket. I found it at the Target dollar spot for $5. I've already found the SVG. I bought this off of Etsy. I thought this SVG was really cute, and I can fill the bucket with pumpkins. There's a couple grooves in the bucket, so I want to fit it in between those. So for the height, I want to make this 3.5. And I'm just going to let it automatically adjust for the width, which is 4.648. There's different layers over here, and it's only grouped together, so I am going to attach it. That way it'll show up like that on the Make It screen, so you can see it here. Then I'll select Vinyl. Here's the vinyl cut and weeded. Those little tiny letters in there were really difficult to weed out, but I used my pin tool, which makes a huge difference. I cleaned the bucket with rubbing alcohol. That just makes it easy for the vinyl to adhere to it. Next, I add the transfer tape. When you remove the backing, you just want to be careful to make sure that all of the pieces pick up onto the transfer tape. I line up the design, then add the vinyl to the bucket. Also, when removing the transfer tape, you just want to be careful that all those little tiny pieces stay on as well. Here's how it looks, super quick and easy to put together. I found this foam at Michael's and add it to the inside of the bucket. That way I don't have to fill up the whole bucket with pumpkins. I can just put a couple pumpkins on top. Michael's has a ton of craft pumpkins this year, and this is one of the smaller ones, and it's so cute. I just wanted to buy all the pumpkins when I was in the store. I also found this arrow yard sign at the Target dollar spot for $3. I thought this would be so fun for a fall project. I paint each arrow with a different fall color. I'm using the Waverly chalk paint, and I'm also using the apple barrel paint as well. I also think I'm going to be placing this inside my bucket with some pumpkins in it to set on my front porch. I'm going to grab my text, and I'm using the font Apple Garamond. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I'm just going to select that one. Then I'm just going to type in the words that I'm going to be using. I'm going to grab a shape and a square, and I'm just going to make this the size of my arrows. Then I'm just going to make all of these white. I actually don't know if hayrides is 1 or 2 words, so if you know, just type it down in the comments. But I'm just going to go with 1 word. I'm just going to bring this over, and I think that looks really good in there. So my font size is 72 for all of these since I didn't have to change it at all. So now I'm just going to delete this. I'll click on Make It. I'm using scrap vinyl, and I found a piece that goes all the way to the end, so that will work with it set up like that. So now I will just hit continue. Then I'll select vinyl. I add the vinyl to the different arrows. This font was a little tricky to work with when removing the transfer paper just because it has these little hooks on the letters, but I just had to remove the transfer tape slowly, and that helped a lot. Here's how this one turned out. I absolutely love the different fall colors on each arrow. Next, I'm going to add a vinyl decal to a candle. I purchased this candle from Target, and I'm just going to remove the original label that's already on it. I'm going to grab my text, and I'm using the font Better Together again. I really like this font, and I'm going to type in sweater weather. I'm going to go to advanced and ungroup to lines, and I'm just going to move this here just a little bit. Now I'm going to select the whole thing, and I'm going to select weld. And it's doing the same thing where it's filling in these letters. So I am going to hit undo, and I am going to select this whole thing and hit ungroup. Now I'm going to grab the A and the E's, and I'm just going to hit send to back for those. I need to hit ungroup for that one also. Now I'm going to select the whole thing again and try to select weld again. It looks like that worked. I'm going to use maroon vinyl for this. I want the decal to be about 3 inches on my candle for my width. So I'm just going to double click here and select 3 inches. And it makes it about 1.2 for the height, and I think that'll be good, so I'm just going to select Make It. Then I'll select vinyl. This font is very thin, and it's also cut really tiny, so I'm using my pen. The one I have is from Tech Wrap Vinyl. I bought it off Amazon, and I can link it down below because it really is amazing and makes it so easy to weed out little tiny letters. I clean the outside of the candle with rubbing alcohol, then I add my vinyl to it. This one was a little difficult again to remove the transfer tape just because the letters are so thin, but once again I just did it very slowly. Here's how it turned out. Now for my final project. Here's the glass jars that I'm using. I bought these from the Target dollar spot also. I found so many cute things this year, and this was $3 for a 2-pack. I really liked the top of the jars, especially this little gold detail. I'm going to upload my SVG. I found this SVG from Etsy, and all of the SVGs that I'm using, I will link them down below along with links for materials, and I'll just separate it by each project just in case you want to make the same thing. I measured my jar, and I'm going to make my SVG 3 inches wide. I also thought this SVG was just super cute. If you look in the layers panel, these are all separated by different layers. I want them to be attached, but if you look at the S, it's over the leaf. So I think I'm going to put that one on separately, and I'm just going to attach the rest of it. I'm just going to ungroup this first, then I'm going to select all of these layers and hit attach. I don't need to attach this one because it's just one layer, and I'm going to keep the rest of these separate. Now I'm going to click on make it. I'll select continue, then I'll select vinyl. This bottom part did not cut out well. It says served in the barn. So instead of trying to recut it, I decided just to get rid of that last little piece. I use my pen tool to weed, and if you decide to use this SVG for the same project or something else, just a warning, it is super hard to weed. The pen tool helps a lot, but it was definitely the most difficult to weed. Next, I add all my vinyl pieces to the glass jar. I also always make sure to hand wash these. If you put this in the dishwasher, then the vinyl would come off, especially with how little the vinyl is. And I always let it cure for 24 hours before washing it. Then I add some ribbon just to give it a little festive look. Here I'm just adding some apple cider into the jar. I think these would make really fun gifts, or I think it would just look super cute for home decor sitting on a counter in your kitchen. That is all of my fall projects. Once again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you had a favorite, and I hope you guys have a great day.